Okay, so the first book I was suggesting is this is I think it is visible. My screen is visible. I hope uh, it is no. Maybe I have not shared the screen. Yeah. So this is the first book, which is Albert Malvino. Right. You can see. Uh, you can see in the Google Classroom. This book consists of starting from basics, no prerequisite. The first chapter is basically starting from what is voltage sources, what is current sources, Thevenin, Norton, Kirchhoff, all those theorem, whatever you need in the circuit analysis, analog circuits, diode, transistor is just starting. So you can read the introduction and you can read the second chapter also because it is also you have learned what is semiconductors, intrinsic, two types of current flow, diffusion and drift. All those basics it is explaining, forward bias, reverse bias. So it is just a refreshing your semiconductor concept. Whatever you require for uh, the unlock circuit part, because some basics understanding is very essential. Other all those complicated p-n junction equations, all those energy band diagram that are not required actually, but sometimes some basics are required to understand the difference between silicon device and Germanium device. How much, what is the effect of temperature on those things, which is faster, etc. So all those things are the basic fundamental things of performance, like power, like speed, like area of how much area it is saying. So all those questions can be answered only if you know the basics on the fundamental semiconductor physics, right? For example, energy band gap. So we can say energy band gap will be explained. Based on that only we can even describe the speed of a device. For example, we can say Germanium devices are faster because the energy band gap is a bit lesser, right? So all those some things we can explain using uh, semiconductor physics. So all those things is required, but not as deep, right? Because ultimately we are trying to design the circuits. So some basic understanding is required. So this comprises the first few chapters, maybe 1 to 2 chapters. Um, so I think you can read it because I think you can read. Yeah. And this book is very nicely written. So there's no complications. Whatever you require minimum is given, and there is no difficult. I don't think anyone will have any difficulty. And then and diode theory is there. Although there is no complicated circuits or something, simple modeling is explained. Then diode circuits, and we will be discussing a bit more deeper level of circuits in the class, uh, and that will be sufficient. If you follow this book and the class will be sufficient, at least for first 3 or 4 modules. And last module, I think there is some communication part on signals part added to your syllabus, and maybe some instrumentation part that will be discussed, and I will share the proper material or books later. So, after diode, there's a BJT. It comes to the BJT. Then amplifiers and different types of amplifiers. Then MOSFETs and JFET, different types of transistors, FETs, then thyristors. Then we need the op-amp part, right? So this completes what we need from this book. Other things are there which we need later. Maybe in your fifth sem you need something more advanced circuits we can need. So another book also is there that I will refer later. I will tell you later. But that is not required for this course. Okay. So the next book I'm telling you is Robert Borsted. It's also a very famous book. So this is the cover. So this is suggested by a lot of universities and faculties. So this is a bit more comprehensive, means more theory is there, more detailed explanation, more circuits and more circuit understanding or more deeper. So although Malvino is sufficient, but if you need to go a bit deeper, more equations and more understanding of the circuits and different modeling, more different modeling of BJT, that will come in the third module or something. Okay, so this book is also recommended in universities. So once you're understanding the basics, you can definitely read it for more understanding. Okay, so these are the two books which I have recommend for our course. This course will be requiring these two books and some other part of the syllabus, last two modules or something. We may need some other books also, right? So that and one more book I have right now shared with you. That is mm, yeah, that is a book. It's called Art of Electronics. So this is very famous book. This, if you are a lot of interest in electronics, this is the books for you. So although this is like a Bible, it contains lot of things like it consists of digital, like all those right, hobbies, and lot of circuit designing tips, lot of jokes, lot of practical things, lot of things you can learn from this. Uh, but with respect to course, it can give you a lot of motivation. But although it explains things in a different way, and you need this book till you're maybe 4 years or more than that, even till MTech or even when you're going to research, teaching, or industry, you may need these books. Okay, so this is a very famous book. So a lot of extra things are there, and someone is very interested in electronics, so already doing some simple projects, wanting to understand more and deeper. All the basics are there. Start from basics only, but it'll give you a lot of different perspective, a lot of interesting ways, right? Even if you don't understand something, you just skip to the next level. But it's a very good book. Right? So these three books I shared with you, as far as and some other books are also there that you may require in your maybe next year, third year or fourth year. That is Cedra and Smith, which is microelectronics. Another book is Razavi is also there, but I don't think that you need those now because they are advanced text. Something is required, I will tell you to refer. Okay. So that's it. So any other questions regarding this books and syllabus and all those things? Syllabus I will share with you. I'm waiting for the updated one. Maybe if I get updated one, I'll share with you. And we also need a simulator. I'll be showing you in the lab part. Mostly I will trying to show you simulator which is called SpeedSpice. So I will explain you how this it works, and you should download that also. I will share the simulator also with you. That is very important part of this course, because as soon as you're learning something, you should parallelly try different possibilities, because electronics, there can be a lot of values, lot of parameters, current, voltage, resistance, and diodes, even simple diode circuit. There are a lot of output possibilities. We have to see everything in our mind. What is the voltage here? What is the current here? What is the waveform here, etc., etc. That may not be feasible initially. So, we need to verify our thinking, our visualization, our understanding of the circuits with a simulator. So whatever we are working, if you make it in your computer or a smartphone also, uh, it will be easier for you to understand, and you can also think what will happen if I make the circuit, right? Instead of doing a lot of blunders on the circuit board, burning a lot of circuits, so we can have something in our computer telling you, yeah, what will happen if I do this, and what will be voltages, currents, and all those big electronics projects or engineers, whatever they do, they simulate before implementing. Because is becoming a like it's already a standard procedure of designing. We without designing in simulator or without simulating, without seeing or predicting the output in a simulator or a software, nobody these days go for design unless you are very sure about the output. Okay, so we'll be using PSpice, and I'll be sharing the PSpice, a small version, which is sufficient for our course. And lab also we have to do based on that, and you can experiment using. Even you already learned basics of network analysis. You can test a lot of circuits already, inductor, capacitor circuits, capacitor waveforms, switching waveforms. So you can test right now and get a feel of that. And this is very important because when you go for transistors, different biasing, different use of capacitors, amplifiers, etc. So it will be easy for you to apply them. Okay, so that I will share with you in next week or something, as you can start early. So I hope I'm audible. Okay, so right now let us continue. uh, so any comments or any suggestions from anyone among you, anything regarding the course, or anything which you want to share with you, or something, any comments basically? Okay, so maybe we will continue with our discussion. So yesterday we discussed, I told you, gave you a circuit, and I told you to try to understand what is the output. So, so let me. Okay, so I think you remember the circuit which I gave you. So it was a diode with a resistance only, and I told you to reverse the. Okay, so this was for discussion. So, okay, so yesterday we discussed the circuit, this circuit with a diode like this. Okay, this is resistance R, this is V input, and V output we have defined. So just define. And what is V input? I told you it is sine wave. This is sine wave, right? Plus and minus. Okay. So I know you are, I know you got the output for this, the output, and I also want you to draw the different waveform, which I already told in, I think, the day before yesterday or something. What will be the V out versus V in graph also? What will be the I out versus V in graph? All those things. And any particular component of the circuit, any two nodes of the circuit, I will tell you, say across the resistance, what is the different voltage waveforms across the resistance, right? That means if I connect this to a CRO or a voltmeter, or for example, I'm connecting this to a display V, so what will be my waveform? So if I see across the resistor, right? That is one question. And the question is, what will be the output waveform? Our usual questions will be like find the output. So this is the output, right? Across the diode, or you can see this exactly same as the because diode is across the output, so voltage across diode is the output voltage. So this is the common question, but you should know what is the waveform across the different points in the circuit, right? Maybe someone asks what is the waveform across this resistance to the ground, this something like this. So any point of the circuit, if one asks, you should be able to tell that this is the output from this point to the ground. Across the resistance, this is the voltage. Across the diode, this is the voltage, and this is the output voltage because that is same as the diode voltage, etc. Okay, the same way you can appreciate the sine wave input. That is the voltage across the input point. This is nothing but sine wave. So this sine wave input has effect on each of these components, resistor, diode, right? So you should be able to. Now this is only voltage. Now the same logic applies to current also. What is the input current? And the voltage is sine wave. Input is also a sine wave. The current will be also sine wave. And now what is the current across the resistance? That means you need to keep an ammeter. Sorry, ammeter is always series. Yeah, you should know what is the current I in this part of the circuit, what is the current I through the diode, right? So current I also has to be understood. Not telling what is the value of the current, because value of the current is dependent on the value of the resistance and diode resistance, etc. But the wave shape, the waveform, what is the wave shape of the current? So these things are very important in this course, and that makes you, a circuit designer or a, an engineer, right? So it will help you to design. You should understand what are the devices, what are its characteristics, because every device you use in a circuit design has some kind of, you can say, characteristics or specifications. How much maximum current capacity, minimum, maximum power dissipation it should hold, maximum voltage, right? If you know maximum voltage and maximum current, you should be able to know what is maximum power rating, right? So even a resistance, we discussed resistance. There are different thickness resistance available in the market: 1/4 watt, half watt, 1 watt, 2 watt, 4 watt. So it depends upon different applications, right? So you should know what's the current and voltage flowing through your device or a component. That will help you to design the, specification. Not only you design the circuit, you should tell each of this resistor, diode, transistor, everything, how much wattage, because the more the wattage, the more the cost, right? So the more the power a device or system is able to handle, definitely the cost will be higher. We can say, how you can understand, how can you understand or estimate the power of a device or a system? You can see your smartphone is also a system. Its power dissipation is very less compared to a, can see, a laptop. Its power dissipation is more. And another device, for example, television. And television will have more power dissipation than a laptop or a smartphone. And there's another system in console system also. You can see from this small watch. Small watch is also a system, small digital system or analog system. It also has very less power. So its size is, so we can say one thing we can see is the size is directly proportional to the power dissipation of a system, right? The smaller a system, the smaller the size, we can say the power dissipation will be smaller, right? So if you see another system like a two-wheeler, two-wheelers power dissipation is, or a automobile or a bikes, power dissipation is much more than a television, laptop, or a fan or something, right? Because you can see it's in HP. You can see you have engine of 150 millimeter engine capacity. It will be horsepower. You can see in horsepower. This is, kilowatt, and like it's 740 watt, 1 kilowatt. Your motor which is filling your water to in your tank in your home, in the capacity in terms of HP, horsepower, that is nothing but 700 watts, right? So we can see as the wattage or the power rating of a device is increasing, the magnitude of its functionality and the size is increasing, right? Same time in a car, the power is much more than a two-wheeler, so its size is much better. The more size is required, the more power rating, the more powerful devices are required. A truck's power size is much greater, much more powerful, so it needs a much powerful engine, powerful brakes, and all the things are going to be costly. And also size is going to increase. So this is one thing electronics engineers should know: a more power is device or a thing is has to sustain, the more should be its size, right? The more size, the more it can dissipate, the more power it can dissipate. So if you have small resistance, you should know it can dissipate less power, or it can act upon less voltage and current. And if you want the device to act upon, um, or it should have experience, or to pass through higher current and sustain heavier voltage or higher voltage, your size of this has to be increased. Okay, so that's it about the specifications. So any device, you should know there's a power specification: maximum power rating, minimum power rating, maximum current rating, minimum voltage, or sorry, maximum voltage rating, and minimum voltage rating should also be there, because some minimum voltage with which it can work. Sometimes the voltage may be less. For example, we have a device of 5 volt. It may not work with 3.5 volt. It may work with 4.5 volt, but it may not work. So maximum minimum rating is very important. Okay, so basically only one thing I told you: the size directly proportional to the power we can estimate. It's like rule of thumb, or you know it's slight interesting thing. Okay, now Now, now in this same question, now I'm asking you to same question plot V output by V in. V output by V in the same question I just drawn. The diode here is the diode. I'm taking output across the diode. And now input is a sine wave, Vmax and all those things. You can know V in, right? This is the V input. Now I'm telling you, you should plot. You should be able to plot the V input, sorry, V output versus V in. Here the independent parameter is the V input because we can control the V input to the circuit. Now, based on this, you have to draw the input output characteristics. So, one input output characteristic is the output voltage versus input voltage. Another is output current versus input voltage, right? So that is one thing. So first, before that, you should know what is the output waveform. That is voltage, output voltage amplitude with respect to time. That is the waveform, right? Voltage, output voltage with respect to time. This is the first thing. If you know this, if you're able to understand this, you can draw everything from this on, right? So yesterday we had discussed this and we got some output like this. How we analyze this? First, what we thought in the positive half, what will happen? This is plus and this is minus. So this because diode becomes plus and minus. So diode becomes plus and minus. What happens? No, it becomes on or short circuit. Ideal diode. We are talking about ideal diode. So what is the output voltage? V equal to I into R. I is there, but R is zero. So I into zero. That is 0 volt. So positive cycle, my output is zero. Positive cycle, my output is zero. Now what about negative cycle? Negative cycle, we can say the diode is reverse biased, right? Negative cycle, the diode is reverse biased. This is minus, this is plus. So what happens? It should be represented by a open circuit, right? So what happens in the open circuit? There are two resistance, R and very high resistance. You can say very high resistance. R diode resistance become very high or infinity. So what happens? All the input voltage is going to drop across your RD. So we can say the whole negative voltage is going to drop across the diode. Okay, so this continues and I'll get a negative waveform in the, so this is called positive clipper. So I'm clipping out the positive voltage, so I'm getting what? I'm getting a negative waveform only in the output, but it's called a positive clipper, right? All the positives waveform have been clipped, so this is called positive clipper. Okay, so right now we are considering of ideal diode. So when it comes to practical or real diode, we know that every device has some resistance, right? Here we assume that ideal diode don't have any resistance. Yeah, true, but real diode has some resistance. So when it has some resistance, it will have some voltage drop, right? So when it is a real diode, it has some resistance and some voltage drop also. I think we are not completed the modeling of the diode completely. So at least we have discussed that we need to model the diode using one voltage source, which is 0.6 volt or 0.7 volt, and a resistance is also required because every device has a resistance, right? So then there will be some drop. There will be some drop, which is the like 0.6 or 0.7. Then the waveform slightly changes like this. There is slight drop here. So the waveform on the top, bottom right, you can see there is slight drop. Diode drop is coming, and this happens when I'm using a real diode representation, right? So your slight drop is coming, resistance drop, because right now my diode is no more ideal. Okay, so that leave that part. Now in the same circuit, you right now you got the output. Now how to draw the V output versus V in and I output versus V in of the same circuit. I think we have discussed this a bit. So from this waveform, I can draw the for the this V output versus V. Okay, so we have the waveform on the top, bottom. Now the graph is like this. So this is V output. It's a dependent parameter depending upon V in. Let's see what is the variation here. So we can see we have a negative as V in is positive, V out is very less. और ideal case में क्या होता है? Ideal case में V out is very less. So V out as a V in is going this maximum V is going is this V out is very less like this. So as V in getting very high, ideal. Let me draw first ideal case. Ideal case there is no V out. V out is zero. There is no positive waveform at all. That means V out is V out. There is no positive voltage on the V out. As V in is increasing, V out is zero. So this is the ideal plot in the positive input waveform. The negative input we know as the V in is going to negative. That means this side you can see V out is also getting a negative value. So you can see V out is also negative. That means this, right? And the input is negative because this is input. V in is negative here in this direction. Minus V in is happening here. So my V out is also negative. My V out is also negative here. This V out is also negative. Okay. So this is the V out versus V in graph of circuit. Now, now the same question is in this circuit, can you draw the I out versus V in? So what is the variation of I out? Is this output clear? If anyone has any doubt, please you can either put in the chat or you can ask, unmute and ask. Okay, so is there any chat? I'm just seeing any chat. No, there is no chat. Fine. Okay. Okay. You have to spend some time how to think and all those things. From the waveform, you can draw the graph. Now I am asking how to draw the I out versus V in of the same circuit. Now we have to come back to circuit. So I'm coming back to circuit. Okay. So I'll give you some time. You can try to think what will be the graph of this. I hope this is your wave. Diode, the sine wave, and V in. We're talking about V out here, right? So this is consider the diode as ideal. Now you should tell me what is the you already got the output voltage. This is ideally output voltage will be like this. Okay. Now the question is what will be my current waveform? Current waveform with respect to input voltage. At different phases of input voltage, what will be my to think and try to draw in your notebook. And one more thing, I'll request everyone to have a notebook for this subject because you will have a lot of circuits to try to practice. Even assignment also, I request you to draw in the notebook, unlock electronics notebook, and you just scan it and upload in the assignment, which I'll specify. I'll give you assignment. You have to solve it and scan it and upload in the Google Classroom. So I request everyone to keep a dedicated notebook for analog electronics, right? So even your exam also you can write in that notebook, and you have to upload it later. But need to have a dedicated notebook because this will help you in the future also because these things will be carried on for higher. There are courses like analog IC design, RF electronics. So these things will be helpful there also. Okay, and you can practice everything you practice. You should write on this notebook. Okay, so I don't you should not worry to like a lot of rough things. It's not problem, but your all the work, all the circuit analysis, all the diagrams, all the circuits you can put it here, right? Not only the theory and wordings, you should draw whatever you try in electronics, you can put it here, analog electronics. Okay, so I'll request you to try this, draw the waveform I output versus V in this circuit. You can take 2 minutes, think, and you can draw it. Okay, I hope it is you have tried something. Okay, so let's see. So can anyone tell me what is the output they are getting? Just chatting while typing on the chat. What kind of output they are getting? Okay, oh, okay. It may be difficult to express the shape, but still, let us try. So, what the important point is, we have got the output, the positive axis. When the whole input is getting, my diode is on, right? My diode is on. When the diode is on, we know that maximum current is going to pass through it, right? Maximum current is going to pass. Now, I'll just uh, plot my current in the bottom, I output, I output. Okay, so we can first we'll draw with respect to time, I out versus time, right? You can see the bottom right. I'm drawing it. Okay, so what is the I out versus time first of all? So we can see in the positive axis when the voltage output is zero, positive waveform is input to the system. We know diode is short circuit. So at that time, maximum current is going to pass, right? Because the short circuit, so current is going to be pass through circuit. So, and what is the voltage? What is the shape, waveform of the current? Exactly as per the voltage. If voltage is increasing, current is increasing. Voltage is decreasing, current is decreasing. Because there is only a resistance in its path. So definitely the current waveform will be like this, right? As the voltage is increasing, current is increasing, voltage is decreasing, current is decreasing. Okay, exactly. It follows the input waveform, right? Now, as soon as now the negative waveform is coming, now the negative waveform is coming. What happens? Negative waveform. As soon as the negative waveform comes, minus plus, your diode is cut off. Diode is cut off. So what happens? The current becomes zero because there is no path for the current to flow. So the current is zero. So we can draw the current like this: zero, zero in the negative path. Again, when the positive cycle comes, again current will be maximum, right? Okay, I should compare with top diagram. It should be like this. Okay, something like this. Okay, so when the voltage is zero, my current is maximum. The voltage is negative, my current is zero. Again the same thing, voltage is zero, current is maximum. Voltage is negative, current is zero. Likewise, this is same point. If you we can correlate the graph, you can say this is the same point. You're meeting the graph here. Something like this. I think you're getting what I'm saying. Okay, now how to draw the I out versus V in, right? It'll be something like this. Now I'm going to draw I'll rub this diagram. Okay, now, okay. So now the waveform will be like this. Your y-axis will be I output, x-axis will be V in. Okay, so when the input V in is positive, you can see when V input, I'll draw V in also on the top. V in, okay. So this is the exact point, it's touching the bottom wave. Okay, so we can see when V in is maximum, current is also maximum, proportionally increasing, right? So this like this, V in is increasing, I out is increasing in the positive direction till a maximum point. It is called V max. Sorry, yeah, V max in the input voltage. Right? So it also reach a point. This is V max, maximum voltage in the output or input. So the I is also reaching a maximum, I max. Now what about the negative cycle? When the voltage is negative, you can see the voltage is negative here in the top. The voltage is negative. What happened? There is no current. There is no current.
right? Output is negative. Output waveform I'm getting negative, but my output current is zero because diode is cut off, right? So when the voltage is negative, I don't get any current. So this is my iode versus V in plot. I think you're getting it, right? The only thing is you have to see what is the current waveform with respect to time, right? We already have V output and V in with respect to time. V in is just sine wave. V out is, you can say, this negative wave or positive clip wave, right? So based on those two datas, we know what is the variation of current with respect to input voltage. Now, this is just out by V in characteristics, okay? Right. Now we'll go to another circuit. I think this is clear for everyone. So this is the most basic way we are analyzing diode circuits. The same way of analysis we have to apply to all other electronics devices and components. Okay, so the next circuit we have discussed yesterday only. Uh, so that is the same resistance, and now the same diode I have kept, but now I given some biasing, some voltage biasing I have given it. Okay, now the input is same. Input is sine wave V in, output is V out across the battery and the, so this is plus minus, say for example 2 volt. Now the input you can say plus 5 and minus 5, plus 5 maximum and minus 5 mini voltage. Okay, so what will be my, first of all, what will be my V out transient with respect to time? V out with respect to time waveform, that is called waveform. What is the output waveform? Then the question is, what is my V out versus V in? That is called transfer characteristic. What is transfer characteristics? Input, we are giving us some input, we are getting some output. So input is transferred to the output. So transfer characteristics means output with respect to input, V out with respect to input. It also means that I out with respect to the input, right? That is transfer characteristics. So we can say output, ratio of output to input, some kind of. We have heard about transfer function, output by input, transfer function. So transfer characteristic, that is V out versus V in graph, I out versus V in graph. That is also important. So waveform, I think yesterday we had discussed. So how to analyze, I'll just repeat. So so let's say we have positive waveform, the positive half cycle. Okay. So this is plus, this is minus. This is the first part of analysis. In exam or you do on your own, you can do like step by step. Step one, the positive half cycle, what happens? Right. So before that, you can see the first important step here is see what is the status of a diode. Imagine the input is zero. Imagine input is zero right now. Now input is given to circuit. Now what is the status of a diode? Diode is actually reverse biased because the cathode is minus, sorry, cathode is plus, anode is minus, right? In this closed circuit, if I assume a closed circuit with zero input, the anode is and minus and cathode is, that's the first step. That is, diode is reverse bias. This is the first important conclusion. Second point is, question is how much reverse bias my diode is. So you'll get it is 2 volt reverse bias, right? So what that means that right now the diode is off, even if my anode is given 2 volt, whatever voltage till 2 volt, it still remains in reverse bias. That means it still remains in an off condition, right? Till my anode is given 2 volt, right? That is a definition of reverse voltage or a reverse bias. Okay, so we know whatever input we give. Now we'll come to the input. So we know that whatever input we give, which is less than 2 volt, which is less than 2 volt, the diode will remain in cutoff, right? Because this is the point my diode needs some voltage. If this voltage is more than 2 volt, then diode is on. If this voltage is less than 2 volt or 2 volt, diode is off, we can say. Okay. So there are, the question can be divided into two ways, two parts. That is when V in is greater than 2 volt, one condition, first condition. Second condition is when V in is less than 2 volt. Okay. So we know V in less than 2 volt, diode is in Definitely reverse bias. When diode in reverse bias, you can see what will happen. Diode in reverse bias, it is cut off. That means this is the circuit stage. So what is the state? We can see this is completely a infinite resistance or this cut off. So what happens? There's infinite resistance. So all input is going to come across that point. And you can see the battery here. Very important. The battery is also, you can see this not in a closed path. There is no closed path. There is two disconnection. Output path also is disconnected. Input path also is disconnected. So the battery also doesn't come in the output. It doesn't have any value because a battery or voltage has effect if it is in a closed path. Now the battery don't affect here. So all my input is directly going to come into my output because of this open circuit case. Okay, so this is happening when the second condition we are discussed here, right? Here the second condition at the bottom, you can see. So the reverse bias causes V output equal to V input. V output is nothing but V input. Okay. So this is happening when V input voltage is less than 2 volt, which makes diode in a cutoff or off position. So the infinite resistance is the maximum. So all the input is going to output, and the battery V bias is not going to affect in the out because it is in not connected at all. Two disconnections. So it doesn't have any effect. Now the first condition, V in greater than 2 volt. So we know that when V in is greater than 2 volt, diode is in forward bias. So it is on. So what happened? Now we can see diode is on. So what happens now? The battery also coming across the output. You can see the battery terminals is also coming across plus 2 volt, and there is diode is also acting as a short circuit. So V out is nothing but, according to Kirchhoff law, in a closed path, what is the voltage here? 2 volt, the V bias. Nothing but V bias, VB. V bias is nothing but 2 volt plus 2 volt. Okay. So this is the analysis you have to do. You have to go step by step. First, see what is the condition of diode. Is it reverse bias or forward bias? Then how much reverse bias it is, or how much forward bias it is. Then based on that, you should think that this, if the input is greater than 2 volt, then only diode is on. If input is less than 2 volt, diode remains off. Okay. Then use the Kirchhoff law in both cases. You will get the two conditions. Now these two conditions you have to draw in the graph. Okay, so I'm drawing the graph in the right side. Okay, so this thing we are discussed yesterday also. So V input, first I'll draw the V input. So best way to draw is like this. This is your input waveform. This is your input waveform. Okay, now we can draw the output waveform. This is transient with respect to time. Now output waveform. We know when input. So after we have drawn the waveform on the right, we know the cutoff V bias. V bias point is 2 volt. So I know this is the 2 volt point which I drawn in here, 2 volt, right? And I'll draw some points to detect these 2 points in my lower graph. These are the points of 2 volt. You can just see like I'm just noting all those points where 2 volt is there. Okay, and I also know what is the shape of my input waveform. I know this is my input waveform, shape of my input like this, something like this. This is for just your understanding only, although this I'm not able to draw perfectly, but you should know this is input. So now we know that as input voltage is less than 2 volt, V output is V in. Okay, so all those places my input voltage is less than 2 volt, V out is equal to V in. That means you can see here input voltage less than 2 volt, V in equal to V out. So here also V in equal to V out, and this also comes exactly till here, V in equal to V out. Again this comes here to here, V in equal to V out. Okay, so we have marked all those areas where V in is less than 2 volt. And what is the output? Output is V out is nothing but V in. So the waveform is just same thing. Okay, so I have just drawn this right now. Now the question is, what will happen if V input is greater than V? Now the diode is forward biased. When diode is forward biased, we know 2 volt is coming across the output. So now I need to show this 2 volt. 2 volt is coming across the output. This is the 2 volt area. Okay. Now I'm marking those areas where my input is greater than 2 volt. These are the regions. Okay. So these are the regions. Okay. So this is the way of analyzing. Now, now this is the graph of V output. V output with respect to time. Okay. Now we need to draw the graph of V out versus V in. Okay. 1 minute. Okay. So I think you're able to get till this point. Now we need to plot. We got the transient response. With respect to time, we got what is the output? This is the output. This is the output we are getting with respect to time. This goes on like this. Okay. So this is a 2 volt. You should mark the 2 volt. This is a 2 volt. 2 volt point. What it is? Saturated 2 volt. Okay. Now the question is now how to draw the V in versus V out. V in, and now better we can draw the current waveform also. Let's draw the current waveform in the bottom. Let's draw the current waveform with respect to time. I out or I, because current is always through this diode or the output path. So what is the I out versus time or I versus time? Now we can see in here, yeah, there is a phase which is a phase when my diode is cut off. You can see diode is in reverse bias when V in is less than 2 volt, right? V in is less than 2 volt, right? So that time the current is zero. So current is zero in all places where V input is less than 2 volt, right? So all this, if you extend this line, we can see that this is the point. These are all the points being less than 2 volt. So current is only at this areas where my saturation points. And what is the current? It directly follows the voltage. So the current waveform will be like this. This will be the current waveforms. And this is continuous like this. So this is my current waveform. Okay. So you can see this because in only this point, my diode is on. When my diode is on, then only current is happening. In other cases, diode is cut off. There is no current. Okay. So that is the current I had drawn the current waveform. Now we can draw from this waveform, we can draw the V out versus V in as well as I out versus I in. This V out. Okay. Well, let's draw V out versus V in first. So this is your graph. This is V out, and this is V in. Now we can see here as V in on the top. Now we have to go top right. This is your V in. So as V in varying, we can say V out is increasing till a point. Which point? Till 2 volt. V out is increasing till 0.2 volt. That means till V in is 2 volt, V out is increasing. After that, it is completely same voltage. Once same voltage is fixing on same voltage. What is the voltage? 2 volt. Okay. So this is the graph. Clear? Now, and the reverse, when V in is reverse voltage, negative voltage, less than 0 voltage, what happens? My V out is following my V in, right? So it will be simply like this. Okay, so this is my V out versus V in graph. Clear? And this is maximum voltage. My V in maximum is reaching plus 5 volt. So this is, and this is also plus 5 volt. Okay, so this is also reaching maximum plus 5 volt. So this is the main thing is your graph has to be in this shape. This is going and increasing at 2 volt, it is saturated. That's it. This is the more important thing. Okay, I think this is clear. You can analyze the circuit and you'll be able to draw V out versus V. Now we'll go for I out versus I in. So what will be I out versus I in? We'll stop it. So you just be patient. Okay, so this is V in. This is I out versus V in. Now, now you can see what is the graph of I out. Okay, because I out is coming only after V in has crossed 2 volt. You can see V in has crossed 2 volt here, right? 2 volt, 2 volt. In is starting. In is starting when V in has crossed 2 volt. So this is plus 2. Then only in is starting, right? After that, in is increasing with respect to the voltage. You can see after that, you can see this graph. After that, 2 volt, in is increasing with respect to V. So we can draw like this. After 2 volt, in is increasing with respect to V. And before that, in is 0. In all other cases, in is 0. Okay. So this is, we can say this is I max, I output max. And this is V output is, we already know V input is, this is minus V minus 5. And this is plus 5. Okay. So this is your output graph, I out versus V in, right? So I think this is okay. You should practice all this graph in all other circuits we have discussed, and that itself. And I have shared some problems in the Google Classroom. You can try it. You can try all those circuits with all those things: V out versus V in, V out versus time, I out versus V in, etc. Okay. So fine. I think if any doubts, I can take it. Else we'll stop it here.